Hello, my loving souls. This is Olesya again. Thank you so much for tuning in into my video series. In this video series, I'm sharing with the world my mystical, magical, transformational, and supernatural story and the events that have been happening with me for the last year and a half. My story involves a lot of spirit communication, higher forces communication, and I also go into the greater detail about development and openness, kind of awakening process for the special abilities that awakened within me during this time. So it's very important, guys, and it's very beneficial. First of all, if you're watching my videos for the first time, please check out other videos starting from video number 1 because it's going to provide you more information into this developing journey. And also, since my story is supernatural in nature, it's very important to stay open. Guys, please stay open because when we are open, we are expanding. And when we're expanding, we are growing. Plus, I make these small reminders, right? Please pay attention to your body sensations as you watch my videos. Those body sensations in the form of the goosebumps, because goosebumps is the natural ability of our soul to let us know what is true and what is honest and what resonates with our personal energy field. Because everyone has their own personal energy field, right? The soul, and so the language of the soul is to respond through like energy sensations, and that's what the goosebumps are in the spiritual world. They're called spiritual chills. So if you're guys not familiar, please start paying attention to those because those are very important. Um, Additionally, please pay attention and start being aware about your emotional state as you watch my videos or I don't know, anytime, right? Because it's very important to pay attention to our emotions and feelings because those are a kind of like a little doorways into the depths of our soul where the more suppressed and repressed emotions are lie within our soul, right? Those unresolved issues, those unresolved type of heavier vibrational frequencies that are holding us back, holding us closed, holding us down from achieving our highest and the best. Those type of emotional wounds and emotional knots, they are staying on the way of us achieving our highest and the best. So it's very important to pay attention to the even small emotions that may rise up, small feelings that may rise up, because we're going to we're going to train ourselves to be more aware about our emotional state. It's very important. It's not like we were conditioned through our development not to pay too much attention to our feelings or emotions. However, feelings and emotions, those are the qualities, those are like living energies within our soul. So feelings and emotions, these are not just qualities of our soul, but they're also charged with they contain special and energetical vibrational frequency, right? So each feeling, each emotion is associated with some type of vibrational frequency, and typically the emotions of, let's say, sadness, the guilt, the regret, the, let's say, shame that are lingering from the past that have not been addressed, those are heavier emotional knots that are basically staying within our soul. And it takes actually, guys, energy as well to hold extra energy from us to hold those type of emotions, let's say, within us. When we are paying attention to our emotional state and when we're paying attention to our reactions, right, to something, let's say if I said something and it triggered some maybe like I don't know, like sentimental, there's some tears coming out, or if I said something and something was let's say something irritated you inside. So pay attention because those are little kind of like little rings to let you know that there are deeper underlying issue within yourself that is not, I would say, not serving you, not serving your highest and the best. And so those emotions and feelings, if we're aware about those emotional emotional feelings, feelings or emotions, we are able to actually link them to some deeper underlying issue, right? And then the part of the healing process, and I guess for all of us, since we're all energetic spiritual beings, it's very important for us to basically vibrate on the higher vibrational frequency, because that's when we're aligning with with the universal flow, and that's when we're aligning to the higher vibrational dimension. In that sense, that's when we start attracting more pleasant, joyous, happy experiences in our life. That's when we start attracting abundance that we really desire. That's when we start attracting the relationships that we desire as well. That's when we start attracting everything that we, let's say, dream of or desire. In order for us to attract the positive experiences within our life, we have to raise our vibrational frequency into the higher dimensional plane, in that sense, right? So in order for us to do this, in order for us to raise our vibrational frequency, we have to let go of the heaviness that is within us. And so I'm not just saying this because one of the abilities that it was awakened within me, I started being very sensitive to the energies, and I started reading energy on very sensitive level, right? I'm going to go into my story, and I'm going to actually talk, guys, about these experiences when I really started being sensitive to the energies of other people as well. So is my own. And so when we, let's say, when they're unresolved, repressed, suppressed emotions and feelings, these are typically holding us back. These are typically not allowing to shift our vibrational frequency into higher vibrational plane. So that's why sometimes we wonder, oh, why can't we attract the experiences that we want in life? Why can't we let's say get I don't know, the relationship that we desire? Why can't we get just experiences, right? Just desirable experiences that we wish for. And I'll tell you, the big part of this is because we were disregarding and not paying attention to our emotions and feelings. And so our personal energy field vibrates on a heavier vibrational plane when we have those emotional wounds and we have unresolved trauma, unresolved type of suppressed and repressed emotions. So in part of the healing process is basically to let go of those heavier emotions first, because it also requires extra energy to hold them in, right? And so first of all, before, let's say, we release any type of emotion from ourselves, we have to be aware about this. We have to know what this emotion is, right? We have to know what needs to be let go of. Many of us have some, I would say, not such a not such a pleasant past, right, as we think. Many of us are experiencing some type of shame, some type of guilt, some type of regret, some type of, I would say, feeling of loss, the feeling of grief, the feeling of let's say sadness, and let's say if we were betrayed or if we were not very treated very nicely through our childhood or in our earlier days. Many of us having heartbreak that we think we kind of released, and we moved on from those experiences. From my experience and what I came across is that even though we think those emotions are kind of gone and we are moved on from those type of experiences and whatnot. To be honest, it's not the case on energetical, like deep energetical level. Those emotions or residue of those emotions are still staying within, like deep within our soul, and it's actually our vibrational frequency. It's a heavier vibrational frequency, right? So it's not allowing us, it's almost like these heavy emotions and feelings, those heavy energies, they're holding they're holding us back from this, right? And so this is part of the healing process. And so that's why I am referring to be aware of those emotions and feelings, because those are the nudges, those are the doorways. Look at them as a kind of the surface signs of what lies beneath, right? What we don't see, we don't. In many cases, we are just not. If we're not attuned to ourselves and we're not attuned to our personal energy field on a very deep level, this kind of, we are unable to determine what those emotions are, those heavier vibrational frequencies within our soul. And so they're kind of they're letting us know about so our soul is letting us know about those heavier emotions by I would say by dropping sometimes those emotional responses or those type of reactions that we're experiencing. So that's that's why I'm talking about, you know, to pay attention to those feelings and your emotional state, because those are kind of like the spirit is showing me analogy. Let's see, there is a rock right on the bottom of the let's say on the bottom of your being. There's a rock, and a rock is it's kind of like a representation of this heavy emotional state, right? This heavier vibrational frequency, this emotional knot. And there's a string, let's say, attached to the rock, and there is a balloon on the other side of the string. And so the balloon is actually that emotion and that reaction and that feeling and that kind of emotional reaction to something. So it's kind of like floats out there, floats on the surface. So by us being aware and paying attention to those balloons, it's possible to actually determine what type of rock it is relating to. It's I would say, as we progress with our videos, the information will come to me as how to determine what this balloon, let's say, what rock it is attached to, right? What this heavy feeling, that unprocessed and repressed emotion, it is attached to. And so by being aware about this, we're able to link this to the heavier vibrational frequency, and in that way, at least we know what underlying issue we have, and we then start healing ourselves by releasing this suppressed emotion. And when we release this, right, when we release this suppressed emotion, let's say, then energy, so we released it through the emotional, let's say, outburst and whatnot, and then this free energy that frees up now within us, that was holding this emotional knot within itself, right? That extra energy, it frees up for something more productive, for something more pleasant, for something more I would say whatever supports our highest and the best. And so that's how spirit shows me, and it's on my also personal experience. I went through some and I'm still going through some healing processes within our life. But that's what understanding how the spirit world from energetical standpoint, this is explained to me, right? So that's why I wanted to discuss in this video my experience, further experience at the cabin at this Lions camp, and we're going to move towards that experience. However, it was very important for me to explain what I am talking to, what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to when I'm stating that please pay attention to your emotional reactions in that state, in that sense, because those are the bubbles of the underlying issue that lays within, like in the depth of our soul, that need to be healed, that need to be let go, because it is stopping us from achieving our highest and the best potential. So that's how this information, guys, comes to me from spirit, you know. So it's not, I did not read about this in the books. I did not watch any videos in regards to this. The spirit, through spirit communication and through channeled information, this information just comes comes to me during this video for some reason. This is very interesting. Okay, so let's. Today I went to the swimming pool instead of the beach, and yesterday I went to the swimming pool that is inside of my complex, and it was very pleasant. It was very nice as well. Not as the ocean, but everything. Each activity has its beauty. And at the pool, either at the ocean or at the pool, I was watching small kids and how they're so careless and how they're so filled with joy and happiness and just kind of like so much bravery, you know. Mostly like many adults would sit either at the beach, many adults will sit on the shore in their chairs, maybe with the book and whatnot. And at the pool, also adults will sit in those, you know, lounge chairs and whatnot, and would read a book. But kids, in both both scenarios, kids will just play very, I would say, carefree, very joyous, very happy, a lot of playfulness and whatnot, you know. And it was just like so, my heart was filled with so much joy, you know, to watch little kids to play. Because guys, I'll tell you that, like through spirit communication as well, and how the information comes to me, when we are kids, we still contain the natural qualities of our soul, because our soul is so, I would say, young for this physical life, right? Even though it's an ancient soul, however, it renews every time when it comes to into the new life, right, in the physical plane. And so when babies are born, when little kids are born, their soul is pure. Their soul is pure, and so that's why kids are more, I would say, they're closer to the. They express those purity and those natural qualities of the soul better with an open heart. So they have not been, I would say, inundated with those heavier vibrational frequencies yet, right? Unless kid went through some, let's say, traumatic experience already. Most of the kids, I would say, by I don't know, by the age of 7, by the age they go to school, they're still, you know, they're still carrying this purity within their hearts. They're still carrying this light within their soul. They're so like, not naive, I would say. They're so like trusting, and they're so open, and they're so kind, and they're so loving, you know. Of course, we have like some some troublemakers, you know, but majority of kids are so kind, you know. They're so playful, and those are the natural abilities of our soul. And so how information comes to me from the spirit when we become adults, you know, and when our personal energy field, that pure soul, it gets basically polluted with those heavier vibrational frequencies, with those residue of heavy vibrational like energy that I would say attaches to our soul, that is residing within our soul, and our energy becomes heavier, and we're not as playful, we're not as carefree, we're not as I would say creative, we're not as brave, we have we accumulated some fears, you know, under those traumatic, under conditioning and those traumatic experiences. So it's very important, guys, it's very important for us to to go back into the state of being a kid. You know, for some of you who have kids on their own, it's very beneficial and very important for our soul to to emerge into the experiences of playing with kids, you know, kind of going into this playfulness, going into this carefree environment, like state of our soul, going into this joyful, happy playfulness and creativity and being brave, you know. So it's very it kind of lights up our soul. It kind of brings our soul, our personal energy field to the higher vibrational plane. So that's how spirit shows me as well. You know, even though our you know, personal energy field may vibrate on a heavier vibrational frequency from this heaviness and, you know, from the fears and from these responsibilities, adult life, right? Responsibilities and those type of chores and you know, thoughts about our job or about you know, like financial things that come through our mind. So it's very important for us as a spiritual like, please don't forget that we are spirit, we are energy. It's very important for us to dive into those natural qualities of our soul, natural way of being playful, of being happy, of being joyous, of being carefree, even for a bit, you know, even for a bit. We don't have to do it for a long time. Let's say we still, many of us still have to go to those our chores and our responsibilities and whatnot, of being adults, of being a parent and whatnot. However, with how spirit communicates, it's extremely important for us to immerse ourselves into this, you know, kid play experiences. It's very healing for our soul. It's very healing for our heart. It actually elevates our vibrational frequency to a higher level when we when we become those kids again. You know, not. You know, like forgetting how old we are, forgetting what what is, I guess, in reality. It just it's very heartwarming, and it's good for our soul to be with the kids and play with the kids, you know, and being those kids ourselves, you know. So. Okay, so let's talk about this experience that I went through in this Lions camp again. So again, in the last video, I was talking about how the psychic and mediums, they were able to shift their vibrational state into the higher vibrational state or lower vibrational state, either to the light energy or to the heavy energy. And there is a benefit in this. So guys, if you haven't watched my last video, so please watch it, right? And so to manipulate with energetical frequency within ourselves, if we understand how the energy works, if we have connection with the spirit world, it's very beneficial, because per that I would say, per what the psychic medium was telling me, it was helping her, shifting her vibrational state. It was helping her to communicate with the lower vibrational frequency spirits, with those heavier energies, to help them to transition into, let's say, leave the homes of people who were, let's say, their spirits, their heavier vibrational spirits were, let's say, lingering in the homes of some people, of some families, and they were creating some type of disturbance. And energy can move physical objects. That's no problem, because everything is energy. It's just the material things, the matter, it's also an energy, but it's more condensed, you know. So everything consists of the energy. So it's very possible for the energy to move physical objects. So that's when uh, that's when we refer to this process as a poltergeist, right? And so poltergeist and those activities are true. However, in many cases, guys, these activities and these type of interactions with the heavier vibrational frequencies, they are being dramatized in that sense. They're being more hyped within let's say horror movies or paranormal investigation shows, when those type of programs are trying to make those experiences more dramatic or more, I would say, entertaining for the audience. In real life, it's actually at least I didn't come across of experience like this when it was like super scary. Even though a few years ago, guys, I had this experience when I woke up, when it's called sleep paralysis. Okay, it's called sleep paralysis. However, now actually diving into the spirit world, I am rethinking what was happening to me at that point. So, and some of you might experience this in your life as well. So I woke up at 3 in the morning, and when I was laying in my bed, I saw, so I had all of a sudden, like I open my eyes, I look at the clock, and it's 3 in the morning, right? It's 3 a.m. And then I see, and it happened to me like maybe I would say in 2013, 2014, that's when it happened to me. And so I wake up, I see 3 a.m. on the clock. I also see a big shadowy figure, like a very tall man in kind of like a black robe and a black, I would say, it covers its face. It's almost like it's a black shadowy figure. I didn't see the face, but it holds its it basically has its long black like long hand on my chest, right, with the long black fingers in that sense. And I'm unable to take a breath, I'm unable to scream, I'm unable to get up from my bed, and I am overwhelmed with this feeling of fear. I am so overwhelmed with this feeling of fear. And that was the scariest, I think, moment in my life, when I was just like so much in panic. At that time, mom was living with me as well, so I got up, and I was already, it was in 2013 to 2014 when this happened. And again, it was continuing for I don't know, maybe a couple minutes or so, maybe a minute. It was very, very quick, but it was so scary. I was so frightened. And all of a sudden, this force actually released me, and I was able to kind of scream, but I started to say a prayer in my mind as well. I started reading prayer over and over and over and over again. And so this shadowy figure, the tall shadowy figure, is actually vanished from my room, and I ran into another room. My mom was not sleeping yet in her room, and so I was sleeping in my mom's bed. First, since I was a little girl, this type of scary experience happened with me. And to be honest, with the things that I know now and how things are working with the spirit world, I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to understand what happened to me and what it was at that time. And if you search on the internet, this type of occurrence, in many cases it's called sleep paralysis, but in many cases it's called the shadow man or shadow people. So guys, you can read about this. I think it's something something mysterious that is yet to be uncovered. Okay, so in this camp, as I told you previously, so that's what the psychic medium, she was doing. She was entering other people's homes, and she was helping them to get rid of those heavier vibrational frequency energies, those spirits who would not transition from the home otherwise. But to be honest, like in many ways in our society or in this community, we will say that those spirits are stuck, you know. But since it's the energy, to be honest, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying for the spirit to be stuck in some location, as I immersed myself in those experiences. I think those spirits of those heavier vibrational frequencies are coming into this home for a reason. So I think there is a deeper underlying reason why they are there, you know. And so I'm yet to I'm yet to uncover this kind of like the stock being stuck for the energy information. And so as soon as this information comes to me, I certainly will discuss it in my future videos because some of you might be interested in this information as well. And so additional experience that I had at this Lions camp, we had some exercises with the pendulum, as I said, with the card readings. We had some exercises with Ouija boards, again, which I was talking about in my previous video as well. So Ouija board is just a tool, right? Ouija board is just a tool, just like the pendulum, just like the reading cards, just like the I don't know, just like the communication circle, and then and it depends all on the person who is actually using that tool, right? And I also gave an example when they're, let's say, two dentists using the same tools, right? One is a good dentist, one is a kind of not such a good dentist, and if they are going to use same tools, they're going to create different effect. One will be healing people and another one will be doing damage and kind of like a cause a detrimental effect on this person, right? So it's all about it's all about the energy of the person who is using those tools. And Ouija boards were extremely misrepresented within within the Hollywood industry, within like the horror movie industry. So Ouija board itself is just a tool. Additional experiences we had with the runas, and I'm not quite sure if I told you guys about the runas. Runas are those type of runas are I'm going to explain them primitively because I didn't really dive into the runas. So runas are those ancient lettering on each type of like rock, and I don't remember how many of them. So each letter represents something. It has a meaning, and there is like a tablecloth in the size of the handkerchief where it has a communication diagram. A diagram is kind of like a wheel which has separate sections, right? And each section represents also a meaning. So in how runas work, you just basically not only every letter has a meaning, but also every section of the circle will have a meaning. And so as someone who works with the runas, this person can shake those runas in the hands and drop them on the circle. And basically the ones that are runas became inside of the circle, they will be lining up kind of they will have the meaning. The other ones outside of the circle will be toast during the process. Okay guys, we're kind of at the end of this video. You know, I'm going to continue this experience in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and love.